This video is on writing objectives using a three-part format. When we create performance-based objectives, there are three aspects to the objective that we need to include. The first is the target behavior, and that comes from the state standards. The second is the condition under which the behavior occurs, and the third is the criteria for success. So another way of looking at this is, what do you want them to do? How do they do it? And how much or how well do they have to do it? It's important that when you write what you want them to do, it must be observable behavior. Do not use terms like understand or learn, because we can't see somebody understand. We can't observe them learn. What we're going to observe is what they do and then infer that we've learned it. So make sure that that the first part in which you're describing the behavior, it's something that you can actually observe the students doing it. Let's take a look at some examples. The target behavior is to identify main idea and key details. That comes right from the state standard. The students are going to do that by reading chapter 3 and writing information in their writer's notebook. And the criteria for success is going to be that they have the correct main idea and 3 key details that appropriately relate to that main idea. So our objective might be written something like this. Students will be able to identify the correct main idea and 3 appropriate key details from chapter 3 and write them in their writer's notebook. Here's another example. The target behavior is to measure classroom objects and determine how many inches longer one is than the other. They will do this during independent practice by using a ruler and writing information on a recording form. And the criteria for success is that measurements and comparisons of 3 objects will be accurate within an inch. So we would write the objective this way. Students will be able to accurately measure within an inch 3 classroom objects and determine how many inches longer one is than the other during independent practice by using a ruler and writing information on a recording form. Here's another objective. Create a written claim that evaluates how geography and climate played a role in the Dust Bowl. That target behavior comes from the state standards. The next part is in a group collaboration using primary source documents, so that's how they do it. And then the criteria for success is that they will cite 3 appropriate sources to support the claim. So our objective is working in groups with primary source documents. Students will be able to create a written claim with 3 appropriate sources that evaluate how geography and climate played a role in the Dust Bowl. Here's one more. Target behavior is identify a person's risk factors that could lead to homeostatic imbalance. Again, comes from the standards. How do they do it? By independently reading a case study and writing down the risk factors. And the criteria for success is that they have 5 appropriate risk factors. Here's how the objective will read. After reading a case study, students will be able to independently write down 5 appropriate risk factors that could lead to homeostatic imbalance. One of the reasons why these 3-part objectives are so effective is that they help you align your objective perfectly to your assessment. So if you've done these 3 pieces, your assessment is done. So the 3-part objective is exactly matched to the assessment. For example, after reading a case study, students will be able to independently write down 5 appropriate risk factors that could lead to homeostatic imbalance. That's my assessment. So this process allows you to create your assessment and your objective all at the same time. And it will set you up so that you know what the main part of your lesson will need to be. So try it out. I think you'll find that this is a very effective way to write objectives.